Brackets. We're going to see. We're going to see.
Between games, find anything exciting? I
So,
found somebody else local that lives
what?
corner from me.
Oh, does he? Oh, cool. Nice to meet you. Give me 1 second here. I almost pulled this out because I'm losing my mind here. I guess. We're live. Can't get it off an old one. Text. Give me 1 second, everyone. I apologize. I'm on creator mode. Watch mode. Watch mode.
I just got in. I was the one that seat opened up, so I bought it right away.
There we go. Yo, Deo. Okay, and there's Mystical. All right. I know you're seeing my gut and my ass. Can you hear me? There we go. Yo, Deo. Whoa, I better turn the sound off. Can you guys? Yes? Okay, good. Good. They can hear me. Let me turn the sound off here so we don't have any reverb. All right. Let me know. Hey, Coco. All right. I'm sitting, guys. I'm exhausted, so. This is MJ. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Phil. And everyone knows Alex Antiquitous, right? All right. We'll probably have more people rolling in. There's more that signed up, so we're gonna have a small little discussion here, if you so choose. This is about the pitfalls and the love of streaming your game, right? Your D&D game or any game, board games, music, whatever. I mean, people do a lot of things. I'm wondering, how's it sound? Does it sound okay? Can you hear me? You can barely hear us. Okay. Hold on. How's that? Is that better? I'm gonna put it right next to my mouth. Sounds fine? Okay. All right, good. Put the mic right there. So I know we have more signups. We had about 10 signups. So, but I appreciate you coming. So, 6 years ago, funny story, 2017, I've been playing, my friends and I are all playing, we've been playing for 38 years together, just playing D&D, not involved in any community, not involved outside of our little group of friends. An article shows up, a video shows up on Popular Mechanics website. Longest D&D game ever, ... All right. Everyone has seen this vid because it's gone every 6 months. It gets rebroadcast. It's a Canadian gentleman named Robert Wardall. See, you're shaking your head already,
I've
right?
heard about it.
Yeah. So this is like October of 2017, and I'm sitting there with my friends. I'm like, look at this. And they go, longest campaign, this gentleman's been playing for 36 years. And I'm like, we've been playing 2 years longer than him continuously in the same campaign. I said, there's no reason, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we have, we got the know-how, the technology. We'll figure out how to live stream our game. A couple of them are like, I don't know if I want to do that. And a couple were really excited about it. So, it took me months to figure out what I was doing, and that's where I wanted to share my knowledge with people. So, I'll give you one of these each. You can do with it as you wish. You can chuck it, you can keep it. All right, now we'll go over some of the stuff. And there's what it cost earlier and what it costs now, because like, the equipment you see out here, a lot of it is pre-COVID. And remember when COVID hit, everyone was home and you couldn't even get a webcam, right? You couldn't even go on Amazon and buy one. So a lot of those numbers are when I started, and just give you some ideas. So let me see, everyone, how are we doing there? Does it sound good? Everything's good? Okay, awesome. Thank you all for coming on. I know it's the middle of the day and we just want to hang out and have fun, and you can ask some questions. So yeah, I know you're working Coco. It's good. So at least we got some of the fervent fan base on in the middle of the day. So 2018 May, I try and stream a live stream game down in my basement. Now my router is 2 flights of stairs up. Okay, I have my machine in the basement. I'm thinking I'm going to get an uploaded wireless connection up, and I'm like, chunk. I'm like thinking to myself, oh, this isn't working, because you gotta, with Twitch or Kick or any of the other types of streaming services that are out there, you really need to have an upload speed of like 30 megabit minimum going up. So I had that, but I'm down 2 flights of stairs in my basement. I'm thinking, how the heck am I going to figure out or learn how to do this? You know, and that was a challenge at first, because I had a good computer. I actually got these cameras. This is a Samsung mic that's on the list, and these are C922X cameras. These are the first ones I started with. This is my travel kit. So when I go to GaryCon in March, and when I do all my streaming there, I'll be using this exact same kit I have out. So a decent laptop, and you know, your tripod with a C922, 2 of them, a Samsung Meteor mic, and just, I don't like browsing on at the same time I'm running running on here. I like to just have the software itself that's running the live stream on its own computer. That's why I have my iPad here showing who's watching in chat right now. So back in 2018, all sorts of problems. Trip over a cord, computer goes off. Well, we gotta restart. The sound's awful. Sound quality's terrible. Got to figure that out. Still are losing connection all the time. Got to figure that out. All these things. So, are you guys gamers, players, DMs? Players. Yeah. Okay. So, in 2018, the VTT, you had Fantasy Grounds, right? You have Roll20. Do either of you guys use those?
I use Roll20.
Roll20, okay, which is big. Excuse me? Foundry's good too, man. Foundry, there's Shard, there's Tailspire, there's a ton of them out there. Foundry, Owlbear Rodeo is real popular now because it's free and it's really good for maps. So a VTT setup is a little different than what I do. What I do is I live stream tabletop play. So I play with miniatures and terrain. So I'm not in front of my main computer, which is up in my office next to the router. So what do I got to do? I got to figure out, and this is a thing. You got to figure out your strength of your signal. And there's all different tests you can do. And with those tests, I decided I needed to get what's called a bridge system, and so I got a Netgear Orbi system. One of those systems where it takes your signal and it broadcasts it out on a dedicated channel. So that solved the problem with streaming in the basement. Now, a lot of people are like, well, just run a wire cord. And I'm like, my wife would kill me, right? I'm not running one through I'm not drilling into the ceiling, the floor, none of that. Someone also said, put your stuff, well, put the router in the basement. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, Alex is yeah. So we do have Antiquitas here, everyone who's online. It's good to see Alex. You know, he lives nearby. Hey, Dale, that's good to hear. It's working well. And Assure's on. No giveaway this time, Dale, so you can't win it again. So, yep. Yeah. I usually do, when I'm not at cons, all my streams, because I got 7 sponsors, I do a lot of giveaways. And Dale Assure the Bear, he wins them, what? He won like 4 out of the last 5. Yeah, well, that's a funny story too. I once called, he won, I said, Ass Hurt the Bear. Because that's what it spelled like, and so that was a funny one. So, what I suggest is start with a goal in mind. Do you want to stream your VTT? Do you want to stream with your friends around the table? Do you want to stream a Theater of the Mind style game? So there's some ideas, some different things you can decide to do, and then from that point, that will just determine, first off, where in your house or in your friend's house you're going to do it. Could be around a kitchen table, it could be in an office, like, especially if you're VTTing it. Right? Do you, like, when you use your VTTs, you guys go in with Zoom? Do you go in with Discord? How do you
Discord.
You Discord, right? So you Discord and connect, but Discord can be tricky. Not for playing on a VTT, but for importing your Discord video, because you want to have your players viewed. You want to have their actions viewed. And a lot of people have a problem taking Discord and embedding it into the broadcast software. It's challenging. You got to know what you're doing, because there's sound reverbs. You know, you got to decide whether your sound is going to be coming from Discord, going to be coming from your broadcast software. It's just, you know, there's a lot of challenges, and it took me a good year to figure out what I was doing, and some of those, and you can go on YouTube. I have all our old videos are on YouTube, because Twitch only keeps them for 90 days. So I port them all over to YouTube, and I don't edit them, and some of those are really comical how bad they are, right? But it's okay, because it took forever to figure out how to do it. And with that, note that you can budget. I mean, there's ways to budget this too. So VTT would be the way you think you'd go all the way? You'd be playing on Foundry with your friends?
Because mostly what we do is theater of the mind, and I've only recently stepped into Foundry.
Okay.
So,
But using Foundry for maps?
yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. We use Fantasy Grounds. We use Fantasy Grounds for mapping too. So feel free to sit down, slide over a bit, so I can get you in in the front row. There you go. Did you talk to Joe Block?
Nope. Never talked to anyone yet.
Okay, I thought you said someone fit your description, said you were excited about coming here. You talked to him last night at a bar.
Nope.
No, okay. Joe Block,
call
yeah,
him sake, and it's
and
all
Joe's right, yeah. You got to get Joe going here. So Joe Block's here, everyone. Look, see, there's another thing. It just auto shut off for some reason. Welcome. What's your name? Kyle. I'm Jay. None of this work is on Twitch. All right. So let me give you one of these. We're just going over some things that from my experiences, what had happened to me. And now it's up with you a whole bunch. What happened to me in over 6 years I've been streaming. I don't want to sit up top there. I want to be able to just sit down and talk to you guys. So a good thing, theater of the mind play is awesome, right? Because you know there's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of descriptive play. But what's good with playing with Foundry, or like I said, my buddy Tim, who streams on my channel, he uses Fantasy Grounds just for the maps. They're not rolling dice in it. They're not using the hex grid system. He'll use the maps that'll have the counters for the characters and to show the positioning, right? So it's kind of a hybrid, but he's not using all the aspects of Fantasy Grounds. He's not, it does not the fluff. So that may be a way for you to do it as well, and it would be simple. You would embed Discord into and make if you're using and we haven't even talked about this yet, into the software you're using. Also, you're going to embed Foundry, the actual picture of you're going to put that on the side. I like a two screen setup, so I can actually just take what's on my second monitor and just say embed the whole monitor into. So that's a way you could do that. You have your maps on the side monitor, and then and that way you don't have to worry about embedding a little corner, So that's one of the things that we do. But so, anyone know about what kind of software you use? How do you get it so that it's running like this and we have an audience watching right now?
It depends. Sometimes I use OBS.
Okay.
Streamlabs is a lot easier to set up.
Streamlabs OBS, yeah.
Streamlabs OBS.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've been trying to get more into the actual OBS just because you can video
Yeah, and there's a lot of canned stuff you can do off of OBS. So I use neither, believe it or not. So I grew up on XSplit broadcasting. Now, you may say why. So I got like 50 emotes on my channel. And one of them is, someone put up, please, the wrong button J emote for me in chat. So, hey, Troy. Troy's coming tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, accountable. Someone will do it. There you go. They're popping up like crazy. So, I like setting scenes. I like setting it so that I have all my sponsor ads set. Press a button, sponsor ad comes up, it's a video. Press another button, entry screen comes up. Press another button, you know, a little side ad will come up. A picture of my friend Tim, you know, doing. I don't know if I have Tim on here. I don't think I have Tim on here. Let me see. No, they're blank. They're blank. I made it simple for this. I just have a scroller right now, scrolling in the banners and the ads and my sponsors, and just 2 video cameras running. So yeah, and that's it. And yeah, so we got 46 people. We have 46 people watching right now live. So in the middle of the day, and they're all great people, all great community people. So, do you have a Twitch channel or
I have a personal, but it's not like.
Okay. Do you like streaming your game at all?
Yeah,
or?
like I'm mostly just like friends and stuff.
That's a great thing though. So here's my question: using VTT mostly, using a virtual tabletop, you playing Theater of the Mind.
So with backstory.
Yep.
I moved to this area a few years ago.
Yep.
And I'm originally from Ohio.
Yep.
So I had a core group of friends from Ohio, and right now we play through Discord. We just like stream like the screen.
Right.
Right now my buddy is DMing the current campaign, the Witchlight Carnival for 5e.
Okay.
After we're completed with that, I was the original DM of that group, so they want me to pick back up and do like a full-blown campaign. They're like, well, why don't we stream it? Why don't we like try to podcast it? So
Yeah.
So like I'm kind of familiar with like Twitch and like kind of like how that whole ecosystem works, and like how to set it up, and like I know how to get the equipment set up. It's just more turning that over to like tabletop. Since right now we use the Roll20 app.
Yep.
Just through there, and just one person like just typically the DM will just move the character pieces as needed, and that's easy for us. But yeah, I haven't looked at like the whole like physical like space.
Understood. So you'll see. Thanks, everyone. You'll see 90%. Right, Alex? Yes, audience. 90% of D&D / Pathfinder / D&D genre style games are in VTT on Twitch now. You know, whatever it is, and that's easy because no one's in person with anyone anymore, right? I have a unique setup. My friends, we've been playing together now, and the number on the card is that this is our 44th year in our Grail campaign. So, in person for me is everything, right? To have them there in my basement playing, you know, with all our 3D prints and all our Reaper minis and all our terrain and my 8-foot by 8-foot gaming table, right? So, but that's like the extreme, you know. And then there's a lot of like Warhammer style guys, like Mini Wargaming. You may have heard of them. They're big Warhammers. That's kind of the way we play. I think that's an exception to what is actually happening. It should. My experiences that I'm trying to share with you are the extreme end that you'll probably never have to deal with, right? Like, do you really? I have it usually when I'm playing. I have a third camera. I have a widescreen camera up above that you can probably see on there. So I am running 3 cameras and sound through XSplit, and I need that upload with the signal going wireless up 2 flights of stairs on a Netgear Orbi up to my router and then broadcast out. So, like, any little thing that could happen, and we had this happen like 2 months ago. I had a special group of players, an all-female cast, an all-female cast playing, and my upload speed was 4 megabits, and I'm like, what? It's like chunk. I'm like, what is going on? Couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I had to get Dell involved, and it appears that when a Windows 11 update came in and wiped the killer Ethernet code, and now it was uploading that controls the connection from the Ethernet card to the Orbi, and I was getting 1/10 the upload speed. And like, how the hell would I even know that would be something that would happen, right? And I couldn't stream that night. And it was frustrating because I had 6 all female cast, great players, all coming in. We're gonna play a great game, and I had to delay it for 2 weeks because I could not figure out what was going on with my computer. And that's the kind of stuff that will happen. And I guess my whole point of this discussion is you're going to get frustrated. There's going to be times when you're going to have something happen. You're like, I cannot figure this out for the life of me. And I've been doing this for 6 years now, and this happened to me a couple months ago. I could not figure out what was wrong with the system. So just note that have fun doing this. But even those who have been experienced and we're Twitch partners, and it's going to happen, man. Stuff is going to screw. Like, something's going to happen. You're going to have your SSD drive is going to go on your computer, or your video cards. A driver's going to mess up. You're going to have an issue, and it's okay. It's just going to. But if you're playing amongst your friends and you don't care, just go play the game still. And just don't live stream it. That night. So, some things on that list. Equipment. Base equipment here, as you can see, 2018. You could get a C922 for under $90. I don't think that's feasible nowadays. This is pre-COVID when the prices went up and went crazy. So my guess is 140 now, 125 to 140 for one of these now. And they used to come with free 6 months of XSplit. XSplit Broadcaster that I use, it cost me $5 a month. It's a software program, and I love using it. I never used OBS, but every other streamer that's in our community, 90% of them are OBS. A couple use Streamlabs OBS, but most of them use OBS. And there's nothing wrong with using OBS at all. Mics tend to be kind of inexpensive still. I think this Samsung will run just $60. What I use now is a JLab Talk, which is a little bit larger, and it has really great omnidirectionality, if that is the right word. So I can set that, and because we're, as Alex may have shown you, we're all walking around the table all the time when we're playing. We're not still in our seats, almost like a war game style for D&D. So I think that'll run you like $60, $70 now. The thing that I upgraded to recently, and my friend John at Blue Box got me in on, was these new Instalink 360 cameras. And they're like, I got them on sale for like $250. With the tripod, they're like, I think on there I have $328 each. But literally, they stream in 4K. The zoom is unbelievable for up close pictures. Just fantastic. Really nice looking cameras. So I got 2 of those, and I still have a widescreen camera. I may put another Instalink on there, I'm not sure. But just, you don't need all that to start. If you're gonna do a VTT, all you need is the camera you have on your computer, right? That's all you're gonna need, because everyone's gonna link in, and you're either going to have everyone on Discord, everyone on Zoom, everyone on Skype. Here's another story. At the beginning, we started with Skype. Skype 6 years ago was the worst memory hog ever. Remember? Yeah. We embedded Skype in, even on our talk shows. Embedded Skype. Started. 10 seconds. Whole thing crashed. I'm like, kidding. Zoom is much better. I use Zoom now. I have a professional version of Zoom. I know a lot of people don't like using Zoom. I have no issues with Zoom. You used to be able not to move around everyone's picture in Zoom. You can do that now. So I'm a Zoom guy. That's what I use. I want simple. I want to keep it as simple as possible, because if you get into some of these, there are broadcast softwares that are like vMix is one. Duff at Prayers Rejects used to use that. The license was $1,200, and I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that, right? $5 a month is enough for me using an XSplit. So let's see if we let me see if we got any comments or questions from the audience. What's up, Jeff? Scottish Jeff. Good to see you. There's Michael. There's Michael. Keith, Troy, Moose. Good to see you all. So, all right. If you're a VTT player, it's simple. If you're a theater of the mind player, I would recommend, like you're starting to mess with, I would always look at getting the map. Having the map is just so much better. You know, just even if you're not using it, but just to say, hey, look, this is where we're traveling to, and then you could also set a second scene up where you could press a button and that map disappears and you only have all your pictures up, right? So that's what I would do. I would have it so. You know, Owlbear Rodeo is really good for that because it's free. Roll20 is free, right? Fantasy Grounds has a license, but I bought it years ago, and so we use that for maps. But yeah, all those. Is Foundry free still, or have a? Yeah, forever. So yeah, so that's not bad. I don't know about Shard. So what's that? Oh, absolutely. But Roll20 is good because there's a group finder on Roll20, and I know a lot of people, when they're looking for players, that's a good place to do it on Roll20. And Roll20 seems to be friendly toward all different types of systems, right? I know, like one thing with Fantasy Grounds, there is a classic D&D, and I'm an old school D&D-er. I don't play 5e. I do 1e, 2e, and. Mike Celestian did a lot of the coding for the old games, like Temple of Elemental Evil, all the old Grail games we play. So there is 5e software and old school. They call it Classic D&D, which is in 2nd edition on there, which is neat, but it is not cheap, right? Buying all that stuff in Fantasy Grounds can be expensive. So it's something that if you're really into playing the game from beginning to end, that it's cool. But like a lot of people are homebrewing, right? I think 90% they say are homebrew, and there's nothing wrong at all with a homebrew game. You know, I've been a Greyhawk guy my whole life, but it's my own homebrew, right? It's just because we started playing in 1980, so it's not like it went this way, and the canon and all the published books is right here from day one. So, and that's the cool thing about it. Before I talk about some of the other things, any questions to this point?
What would you suggest, on the interface side, because an issue that I've had in the past is in the overlays. I was using Discord, which is
right. You can't.
Not the best.
Right.
Like with Zoom, you're saying you can move the things around. Is there do you find it consistent? Do you if you're using overlays, do you find it really consistent?
So this is what I do, and if you want to come over at some point and take a look, as you can see, I have these boxed out, right? I have these cameras boxed out with just a little, and I use as you can, see that. Mm-hmm. So what I've done is the background for me is a map done by Anna Meyer for the campaign setting in Greyhawk. Then we've taken both cameras, and if Zoom would be here too or somewhere, and then I've just boxed them in, and they're in front. They're not behind.
Sure.
So I don't like using an overlay. I like doing it in reverse. So you can layer, and I don't know how OBS works with that, but in XSplit, you can layer the things so that it looks like it's an overlay, but it's actually not. And the reason I say that, is something that happens in Zoom all the time. You got 6 people on. I don't feel good. I'm gone. 5, and then then they're all over the place. I see it all the time happen on stream. So when I do my talk shows, and Alex will attest to this, and I'll have as many as 9 people on a show before a big fundraiser event. It's we call it the Hollywood Squares, right? So you're center square on Zoom. I keep it so that there's a box, and when they come out, it goes to 8, and it stays in a box around like that. That's the way I do it. Okay. So, but a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people want the individual, which is okay. But for me and my talk, it doesn't matter my talk shows. And then when I'm DMing a game, we're all standing up around the table longer. You know, just walks off and disappears for 10 minutes, right? You know, or Tom has to sit in the corner when he's eating food and no one can see him. You know, and so my guys are all over the place anyway, and so I'm widescreen cameraing that too. So in a theater of the mind game, where you see, and we call them talking heads, it's not meant to be derogatory. You have your 6 talking heads up, your DM's one of them, and all. There's, you know, you could do that easily. With this technique, put a nice background up, put the pictures in front, and then box them off with some kind of. That would be a suggestion, so you don't have to worry about the overlay not being dead on. So that way you can tailor where these go. So look, I can just do, watch this, watch. I take that, look, I just moved it. I just moved that overlay right there. I didn't lock it in, right? So I can put them wherever I need to now. Yeah. So that's, and then so this is a scroller. This is scrolling here, all the ads for page. Here are my sponsors in the right-hand corner, right? And then I got bars for followers. And I got bars for bit cheers for the month, because we do that on the channel. So that would be my suggestion. And then just a banner title up top, and then a bunch of our heraldry by Anna and me up in the upper left-hand corner. And that's it. And it's all in front of the background, not behind it. Make sense? Very cool. Good question. All right. Getting started. If you're not using miniatures and terrain, this part of the discussion may be a little boring, but if you're ever interested, when we started, we didn't use 3D printers. We got, you know, we had, the terrain was all custom made by my buddy Bill. Last 3 years, 3D printing has run through the roof. So we have one resin, 2 PLAs, and then with our sponsors, Gamescape 3D and Infinite Dimensions Games and Century on 3D, send us a lot of the pre-printed stuff already, and he works it up. So it has evolved the game into another level, I think. Just the visual effects of it. I mean, just for us. But I know a lot of people can't play that way. And you're thinking to yourself, how do you play that way with, like when I have special groups? Like I'll do a game with, like 2 weeks ago, I had Ed Greenwood on. Ed Greenwood plays in my Greyhawk game, believe it or not. It's insane. So we had Ed, and we had a couple of, and so we were talking last night on Twitter. I don't even talk about that. Yeah. So I usually, sorry everyone. I usually put Ed up, and I put a bunch of my female streamer friends in, and they just have at each other. It's great because Ed's like, you know, Ed has their reputation as a dirty old guy, but it's all in fun. So yeah. How do you play on a tabletop when everyone's not there? Right? And that's where the zoom cameras come in. So I'm moving their figures almost like I was inside the VTT myself, moving the. So I'm moving the figures. I'm moving the monsters. I'm setting, you know, I'm setting up the situations, but they're all remoting in on Zoom. So it's important to have cameras that are up front and close. And so with that, with 3D printing and having really nicely painted miniatures and having, you know, really cool terrain effects and having, you know, some fortresses and walls and all sorts of stuff, it makes the experience a lot more fun for them, because they're like, and I'm not saying that they're not players that love theater of the mind. Everyone, you know, it's the way the game starts. I mean, you start with a piece of paper, a pencil, and you're filling in a fictitious map, right? I mean, that's how we all started as kids. But like, we've taken that one level to you know, up, and that's one of the things we're known for on Twitch. Old school, Greyhawk, and the best scenery and terrain on as far as the D&D genre goes. So I put some costs down and some ideas how to keep that pricing down. Like, you know, the D&D box set games, Wrath of a Shardalon and all those. Those miniatures in those sets are the actual miniatures that came out in the 2000s. The plastic miniature lines, you know, like I forget all the names of them, Dungeons of Dread, and you know, God, I can't, Lords of Madness, and all those that came out at that time. They're all in there, but they're a solid color. You can still paint them. They're perfect. There's nothing wrong with those miniatures. So a lot of people find those games. You find them in clearance somewhere at a bookstore or whatever. Get all the miniatures out of them, man, and use them. There's some fantastic minis in there. It's a way to keep costs down, because you know you'll go on eBay and like a plastic miniature for a crossbowman that came out in 2006 is $20. I'm thinking to myself, this is insane, right? You know, it's nuts. So I always say look at shows, look at you know, even yard sales and all sorts of other places. Old Ralph Parker's, old Grenadiers, and utilize those miniatures if you want to get into the mini play with terrain and all. Because let me tell you something, or get a 3D printer and learn how to use a resin printer, and you can pump out hundreds and hundreds of minis in a day, hundreds of them. And there's a lot of companies like Fat Dragon, you know, and all sorts of other third-party companies. My sponsor Infinite just came out with a line of miniatures, and you can pump those out. And once you know what you're doing with that resin printer, if you're a decent painter, you can have a whole army of orcs. My buddy Bill, on the weekend, he did 70 orcs, and half of them are ward riding orcs. I forget the company name, but they're out there that they do Lord of the Rings games. And so he just scaled them down a little bit, and they're perfect for D&D. And it's either 28 heroic or 32 is where we live now. It's going up. Remember the old little, you take a little Ralph Arthur from the day, and you put it up next to a miniature, now you're like, oh my God, that's like a midget, right? It looks really, so 30 to 32, or it's called 28 heroic, tends to be where the industry is now as far as miniatures to the terrain setup. So just as a little hints there. We still have miniatures that are 40 years old that are painted that we use as our characters because they refuse to give them up. Because you know my guys are nostalgic, right? I also have like an emote for them all. It's a tuna fish sandwich. You know, what's that? So, and that is, I don't think any of them are on, so I can bust them. They can't, when they get to my house, they've worked a long day. They're all professionals. They get there, it's 7 o'clock, 7:30 we start on Thursday night. And they can't remember what they had for lunch, even if it was a tuna fish sandwich. That's all I did. Their brains are fried when they get there. You know, and that's the thing with the game, and that's part of the charm of the game. You're there to play with your friends, right? You're there to have fun. That's the important thing. Just enjoy the game and have fun. What time is it? Look at that. We're going pretty well. So, I know I'm forgetting some things. Note the following. You want to get involved in Kick or Twitch. So, I don't want to be a sob story. I got rejected for partner 12 times before I got accepted on the 13th application. That was 2 years of rejection. So, I understand how much of a grind it is and how difficult it is to get noticed on these platforms, especially if you don't know what you're doing to start out. That's where we were. When we started, we had 5 viewer average, 5 people watching us, and a lot of and because let me see what we got on now. We got around 40 on now still. And this is the middle of the day, and I didn't think I was going to be able to stream today, but at least we got it. So, don't get frustrated if you do it. The last thing you want to do is get on there and go, oh my gosh, no one's ever going to watch us. Well, you don't know that. There's a ton of channels on there. You need to do the following. Number one, I'm not saying the game has to be like Critical Role, because no one's Critical Role, right? You know, you got some of these Table Stories big, right? You got a couple of other High Rollers is another big one, but you know I get like a 70-75 viewer average, and I'm happy. Our community's great. Number one, when you play, make sure people know you're having fun. No one wants to see a stream where everyone's miserable, right? Unless there's a charm to it, right? Unless it's charming for some reason, because everyone expects, you know, my friend Alan in the corner to be miserable when he gets there, right? Okay. So, number 2, do something that differentiates yourself from everyone else. And I'm not saying do anything that's going to get you in trouble. You know, we're not all this. Do whatever it is. For me, it was I'm an old school streamer, right? I stream 1E, 2E, D&D, and that's probably 1/10 of 1% of all streamers. Like 95% are 5E. A couple percent are Pathfinder / 3E. Right? No one really does old school anymore. 2, I have miniatures in terrain, and 3, I got a community of Greyhawk around me. I got a theme around me. So of people that are in the community with some big names that participate, like Ed Greenwood, Luke Gygax, Eric Mona, you know, all my friends that are streamers. I would say if you get on and you start doing it, you enjoy it, reach out to some other streamers. Say someone you may like, and you may have a viewer average of 5 to 10, they have a viewer average of 15, and you say, hey, you know, we kind of have the same play style. Maybe you want to collaborate sometime. Maybe we want to do a crossover event. I'll do a 4-hour event. I'll do the first part of the story. You do another 4-hour event, and we'll tie it in. Or what I do is I have a huge fundraiser event for St. Jude every year. So, and that's coming up in 3 weeks. It's our 6th annual St. Jude fundraiser. Last year we raised, in 3.5 days of streaming, there was 14 channels involved. We raised $25,400 for St. Jude last year. Yeah, we're trying to surpass that this year. So community's very important in the stream. The thing, it means a lot to me. All these channels that participate, you know, in a good cause. So that's a good thing to do. Fundraisers are a good way to meet other community people. And then just cross over in other genres. That's another suggestion. So for me, we have the crafting, because we do all this stuff, painting, and we have the crafting community. 3D print companies, Reaper Miniatures sponsors my channel, which is huge. Troller Games, if you know Troller Games product, Troller Games is another sponsor of mine, and they have a lot of old school publications. They're fantastic people. So that's what I would suggest, is reach out to communities outside of your own genre. So you're running 5e D&D, and you see someone doing a Forgotten Realms stream, and you're doing, you know, you may want to say, hey, do you ever do any third party, or, you know, would you like to do something with me in Forgotten Realms? You know, that's what I would do. I would reach out to some of the people, because there's a lot that are trying to do what you're doing. And trust me, I've been there. I went through all the awfulness of the early streaming, yeah. And the number one thing, if you're serious, stick to it. It's going to take, it's a grind. It's a grind. Another thing I do is I have talk shows. I have 2 talk shows a week. Changes things up a bit. Get special guests on. Topics, you know, we'll talk about wizards. We'll talk about, you know, critical hit tables. We'll have guests on. You know, that's another idea. Change it up a bit. You know, maybe do a stream where you're going to be painting miniatures. Or maybe do a stream where you're just going to be sitting down and talking about your campaign with all your guys around the table and not playing that night. You know, and things like that. So.
I think you're really good at community involvement.
Thank you.
Jay, I've been on a lot of Twitch communities. Good job noticing the chat, paying attention to what's going on in that chat.
I'm trying it now.
It's very interesting.
Thank you. Excuse me? Oh yeah, okay. So it's the value of becoming a Twitch partner. That's a great question. So a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Well, that's BS. So, what's up? Just wanted to check. So it's BS. Now, becoming a Twitch partner was my goal. Here's some of the things that are over an affiliate. It's easier to get sponsors. number one. Although I had most of my sponsors before I became a partner. But it's easier. It's easier to get big names on your channel. A lot of people will not even consider coming on a channel that's not a partner channel. So if you want to get a guest, if you want to, like someone here, like our friend Chet Minton, the artist, is here, and he did the cover for my published adventure, Cool. So Chet's a good guy. Chet may come on any stream, but there may be an artist. I've had Larry Elmore on once, right? Larry wouldn't care either, but there may be someone who's like, you know what? I don't have the time. But if they know who you are, and a Twitch partner gets a little bit more, they may want to come on, and talk with you or play the game with you. 2, you can create what's called a stream team. Very important. I have a stream team called Greyhawk Creatives. So I have a listing of, I think it's 24, 25 channels now. And they're not all, some of them are artists, crafters, other channels that play D&D, and they're all in that stream team together. You can only do that if you're a partner. So, most importantly, is, and you would dedicated bandwidth. So, the way Twitch divvies up its bandwidth. Did you ever go on a Saturday and you're like, why is it chunking? Yes, okay. So during peak hours, when their bandwidth really crunches up, so we're talking Friday night, Saturday night, especially, and some Sunday mornings, believe it or not, which is strange, it seems to chunk really well. Partners will get the bandwidth first, and what's left over, they'll give it to affiliates based on what their viewer average is at the time. And that's why you'll see the chunking occur. When you have everything perfect, you're like, why is Twitch being Twitch? Now, I still get that sometimes in a weird, I had it the other day. I'm like, what the heck's going on? But it cleared up in like 5 minutes. Yeah. So, but that's the number one thing, is the dedicated bandwidth. Number one above all others. So you don't want to worry about that. Everything's perfect, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do it, and that's frustrating. So, it's a good question, Alex.
On a more extreme end too, what if you wanted to, you ever investigated Elgato stream decks?
Yeah.
Is there a value to that?
Absolutely. Notice I didn't bring mine here because I only have one screen up. Yes. So I have an Elgato Stream Deck. It's 15 button. There's 6 button ones, 15s and 30s. The 15's perfect for me because I can press a button and then go into a sub. So basically I have 225, 15 times 15 different buttons I can program in. So what I'll do is say a partner of mine will come on, Blue Box will come on, press a button, press the shout out. I shout them right out in the chat with one press of a button. Or I want to change the stream without clicking on those, press the button. That's why the button joke is big, because I always press the wrong damn buttons all the time, right? So yeah. Or I want to shout out what Ed Greenwood's doing. He's told me ahead he's going to be on, and he's told me ahead what he wants to do, what's coming up. So I pre-programmed that in, boom, done. What am I doing on Thursday night stream coming up? In, press button. Yeah, thanks, Alex. Yeah, that's one thing I forgot. They're like 150 now, around that for a 15 button one. Yeah, is it on sale?
At Micro Center.
Oh, Micro Center, yeah, that's great. They're fantastic. They're easy to work with. Just note, if you do not keep the software updated on them, sometimes the auto updates come up on your Elgato. Remember, I was like, this damn thing's not working. That was like a week ago. Oh my gosh, I didn't update the software. Let me see if there was an update. Broke, nothing. So, yeah, but they're fantastic. They make your lives a whole lot easier. And there's nothing better. Yeah, look, they're still busting my stones with the emote. There's nothing better than having sorry, I'm not shouting you all out now. Having a streamer on that you're friends with, and you give them a little shout out to their channel. I mean, it creates camaraderie. Another thing, build a community. Even if it's a community among just your friends, build a community up on there. Their viewers can become your viewers. Another thing I hate these channels that are like paranoid about losing their viewers to another channel. Well, if you're paranoid about that, then you're not doing something right. I raid it every time I'm done a stream. I raid into another channel, even if it's a channel I don't even know. I did one Wednesday night. I didn't even know who they were. I was like, they look cool. Let's raid into them. I have no fear that the community's going anywhere. So be generous. Also cheer on other people's channels. Subscribe to them. Be generous. If you can afford to be generous. People will appreciate that. Yep. Good point on the stream deck. Boy, my throat is like, I've talked enough today, I think. What other questions do you have? And I appreciate you guys hanging here and listening to me babble. It's just, I love sharing my experiences. Tomorrow, I'll be here with Joe Block at 3, and we're going to talk Greyhawk. We're going to talk about what's going on in Greyhawk. I brought almost every publication that's been out the last year and all the third-party stuff. I forgot, Troy, if you're on, I forgot the Beyond Greyhawk, Beyond the Flannis stuff. If you want to bring the printouts of those too, if you're on. So. Well, that was from 1993. Oh, no. That's staying at home, that copy. You can't find that. Well, any other questions?
How are you going to use it? Are you doing it personal, or do you plan on streaming?
I wanted to see a different kind of play style, and since I'm not seeing it out there,
right. So, well, next time I'll be doing that play styles next Thursday, so please come on and take a look. Tabletop with miniatures and terrain is fun, but it can get a little over. Like my basement is huge, and I'm out of space. Literally, we have, for example, a jousting setup this big, right? It's on the front page. You also have an arena that's this big, all 3D print. I mean, huge stuff. Castle walls, whole buildings, towns, and a lot of it's not. There's old, like Miniature Building Authority, one of my original sponsors. They're still in business. They sell resin cast buildings. Are really nice, but they're expensive, right? Because they're, it's a great company, but you're talking about like $75 minimum for one building. It can get ridiculous, but there's stuff that you can do. 3D print makes it, if you know what you're doing, you can save a lot of money. The key with that is time. Time to set it up, time to paint it, right? Because you don't want to put a 3D print out, it's not painted, right? Time to get all the chaff off of it, that stuff. And time, because they're going to mess up, especially the PLA printers. They're going to make a mistake, and then you're going to wait. Oh my God, that was 20 hours. And it's going to happen. Trust me, Go goes crazy, my friend, all the time when we're printing something, and in 19 hours into a 20-hour print, something happens. Resin printers have very little failure rate, but resin printers are smaller, and resin's a little more expensive, and I say use the PLA for terrain and buildings, and use resin printers for what we call dungeon dressing, like a potted plant, or a well, something like that, and miniatures. That's what I would use the resin printer for. Yeah. What time we got? We got quarter of? 10 of? 2:54? Look at that. 5 minutes 4. So, look, you have my card. My emails are on there, right? Reach out anytime you have any questions. If you have any questions about any of the stuff I put on there, and just enjoy it. Play it. We're all here for one reason. We love playing games, right? We love playing D&D. That's it. I do this. I have a career outside of here. I do this for the love of playing D&D for all these years. And if I thought when I started streaming in 2018 that I'd have Ed Greenwood and Luke Gygax playing with me, I'm DMing for them. I mean, it's mind blowing. And they're all, everyone in the community is nice and nice people. So just have fun, man. Have fun with it. Appreciate your time. Yeah, of course. Thank you. Very nice meeting you. Thank you for coming.
I'm going to see everyone.
A lot to digest.
Yeah, a lot to digest, and that's it. Just think. That's all. It provokes some thought here. So, Hope you all had fun with this. Hope you all had fun. So, next, I will, for everyone here, I'm going to. Yeah, my YouTube has all the videos on it backed up. I will be streaming. I'm going to try everyone tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, one of us join us. So tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, I will be streaming my game, Horror in the Holes. We're probably going to do part 1. So hopefully the sound won't be bad, but it's going to be over in one of the side rooms here. That'll be at 9, and at 9 o'clock it'll go from 9 to 1. 3 o'clock tomorrow, Joe Block and I will be back here streaming what's going on in Greyhawk. So just please, we'll see you then. This was successful, so I know the upload rate here is good enough to do it. So we'll be doing those too. Hopefully I have room over there for the game, and there's going to be a table free, so I can. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So yeah, all right. So need a connecting basement, one for gaming, other for minis, and yeah. Courtney, my house is only so big, so yeah. Yes, everything will get uploaded to YouTube. I promise. Everything here, like this, will get uploaded to YouTube. Definitely, it'll all get uploaded. You know, a couple. If I get in my room tonight and I'm bored, I may do this one. All right. So, all right, I'm going to call this. Everyone, thanks all for your support in the middle of the day on a Friday. We'll see you soon. All right. Everyone have a good one. Bye.